Multiple births. I have known a few sets of twins in my life. Some I am still friends with to this day. That's why I was curious about this topic and decided to find out more. Some of the questions I had are: how common are multiple births? What makes you more likely to have a multiple birth? And what are the risks of having multiple births? After doing research on these topics, I have learned the answers to these questions. In this speech, I will tell you what I learned, but first let me explain what a multiple birth is. According to Medline Plus, a service of the U.S. National Library of Medicine, a multiple birth is when you are having two or more babies during the same pregnancy. The first question would be: how common are multiple births? According to the University of Rochester Medical Center, multiples make up only about 3 in 100 births, but the multiple birth rate is rising. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, the twin birth rate has risen 70% since 1980. It is now 32.6 per 1,000 live births. The birth rate for triplets and other higher order multiples rose dramatically, but it has slowed since 1998. The second question would be: what makes you more likely to have multiple births? It could be hereditary. If people in your family have had a multiple birth, then it increases the chance of having twins. There is also a higher chance of twins for women over the age of 30. An example would be that the University of Austin, Texas showed that over the 20% of births to moms over the age of 45 were twins, but only 2% of births to moms under age 24 were twins. This is a graph that Brown University found to show the observed rate of multiple births per 1,000 live births from 1971 to 2016, and the fractions that can be attributed to delayed childbearing and assisted reproductive technologies, projected out to 2025. The University of Austin, Texas also said that race is also a factor. It was shown that in the U.S., twins are most common in African Americans, 36.8 per 1,000, and least common in Hispanics and Latino Americans, 21.8 per 1,000. The chances of multiples can also be increased by using in vitro fertilization or ovulation stimulating medicines. When having multiple babies, there is a higher risk of complications during or after the pregnancy. Some of the possible complications are preterm labor and birth, gestational high blood pressure, gestational diabetes, birth defects, miscarriage, cord entanglement, postpartum hemorrhaging, anemia, and increased possibility of needing to have a cesarean delivery, otherwise known as a C-section. According to Mayo Clinic, preterm labor occurs when regular contractions result in the opening of your cervix after week 20 and before week 37 of pregnancy. This can sometimes cause health risks for your baby depending on how early you give birth to them. The earlier you give birth, the higher the chance of health risks. Gestational diabetes, according to Yale Health, is one of the most common health problems for pregnant women. It affects about 5% of all pregnancies, which means there are about 200,000 cases each year. If not treated, gestational diabetes can cause health problems for mother and fetus. How common are multiple births? What makes you more likely to have a multiple birth? And what are the risks of having multiple births? These were the questions we started with, and hopefully the speech answered them for you. Having a baby is a happy time in many people's lives, and sometimes the unexpected happens and you end up with more than one. It can cause the new parent some stress because they have double the work to do, but at the end of the day, it's worth it, because they also have double the happiness.